Do not make pressurized, unrested decisions for your business. This video is for the solopreneur, for the creative entrepreneur, and for the small business owner. And the aim of this video is just to remind you that it is necessary for you to take time to rest before making huge money decisions, making huge time decisions, making huge effort decisions for your business. Now I'm going to go back to the beginning of 2022. At the beginning of 2022, I enrolled in 2 programs. One of them was an entrepreneurial mindset training course where we met once a week for 2 hours. They gave us homework. You did the homework. It was practical homework that you're doing in your business. So it was actually like implementing the stuff that you are learning in your business. At most, we had that 2-hour session, and then would have perhaps every 2 weeks would have like a meeting in a smaller group of pods. So the time investment was not that big. Now I enrolled in a second course that was dealing with the self-concept, the way that we form our identities, the way that we think about ourselves. Now that one was a little bit more intense. It required a little bit more time. I remember we had meetings on Saturday, and then you'd have like to do some work on yourself, and then have a couple of meetings during the week. I think we had 2 pods during the week and a meeting on Saturday. So that was the investment. And it was a bit of a stretch, but it wasn't that much. I was still balancing the work, balancing the learning, balancing the implementation as I was growing my business. Now, towards the end of 2022, the second course decided that they were going to implement a new certification program. And they asked the students who were in this course if we would be interested in getting certified in the method. Now, of course, we were very excited about that. I was feeling a little bit stretched, but the thing is, this was an offer of a lifetime, because I knew that when payment came in, it was going to be really, really expensive. But they were offering us this free of charge. We were going to be the initial students. They were going to kind of test the program and test the method and test whatever it is, test the course structure and everything on us. I said yes. Feeling a little bit stretched, but I was like, the other program is going to end in, I think it was ending in March 2023, and I was like, I'll be able to handle this. I wasn't ready for how intense this program was going to be. So in effect, in December, I was enrolled in 3 programs in addition to my business. So the first program, that one where we met once or twice a week. The second program where we met 2 or 3 times in addition to doing personal work on yourself. But then now, like this new program, we had pods that met 3 times a week. And in addition to that, you needed to do work on yourself and then submit work, have meetings, attend meetings where the work that you're doing is reviewed. At times they wanted you to attend 1 or 2 meetings. So in the end, you'd find that you'd have something on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday, on Friday, on Saturday, on Sunday, because at times also the person who is the lead here, the lead in this particular organization, would also be doing stuff that is important, you needed to know in the program. So it's like there was no rest. And I began to feel stretched, really, really stretched. At times I sat back and said, this is too much. I really, really can't handle it. But the thing is, I wanted to get the certification. I was stretched. I was feeling overworked. But the thing is, I wanted to get the certification. And there was little time for you to take time off. Like I'm going to now take 2 weeks off and rest. Because if you took time off, then you're going to come back and you're kind of behind. So you needed to catch up. So for about a whole year, 2023, the year where my business really went, the Ugandans know this, where it went, where the business really, really grew. It was also a time where I was really, really stretched as an individual because of the number of things that I was doing, the growth that was happening. Now, in this course, you actually did work on yourself. So I also did a lot of work on myself. So I grew as a person. I grew as an individual, removing blocks and getting to understand myself better, getting to understand what different attributes and values meant to me. However, on the flip side, I was stretched and tired and just overwhelmed emotionally for most of the year, emotionally and mentally. It wasn't until December when I finally took time off to rest, because that was the end of the program and they were giving us an extension of 6 months because most of us had not finished the practical. But it was during that time that I decided I'm going to take a real break from this, a break without feeling like when I take a break I'm going to fall behind. You know, when you take a break, but even in the break you're feeling like I'm falling behind. I took a break from everything, and then I finally sat with myself, and that part of me that had said, Jennifer, this is too much, finally began to speak loudly. Because what had happened was, I had felt straight, that part kept coming up and saying, this is too much. I know you want the certification, but it is a bit of a stretch for you. But you know, in the program also, one of the things that they do is they deal with resistance. So whenever that would come up, it would be handled as resistance and it would be resolved, but it would come back again. Now another part of me had just decided that it was not going to play to be a part of this. So I'm usually a very good student, but the thing is I was finding that there were things that we were supposed to do that I would just not do. I would just not show up for some things. And I was like, this is not me, because I know myself. I am a good student. If I'm interested in something, I am going to put in the effort. But it's like I finally sat down with all these parts of me, the part of me that was feeling like this is too much, the part of me that just decided that I am not going to participate in this. I'm not going to put in effort. And I just said, you know what? I do not feel aligned with this. I do not feel like, while I want the certification and I loved the knowledge, I loved what I learned, I realized that this is not something that I want to do, that I really, really want to do. In this case, my resistance was right. The parts of me that was saying, this is a little bit of a stretch for you right now, the part of me that was like, I am not going to even participate in this, it was right. Those parts of me knew me better than my mind that was saying, we want to do this, as in we want to get the certification. And it was after December that I sent them an email and told them, you know what, I don't think I can continue with the program. It felt like I had wasted a whole year, because it was a whole year of work. But the thing is, during that year, I learned a lot about how the human mind organizes memories in order to form identity, in order to form who we are, in order for us to form who it is we think we are. I learned a lot about the human brain and the human mind, how it is that the mind works. I learned a lot about that. But the thing is, I stepped back from the program, and for me, I think that was one of my best decisions coming into 2024. Now, the lessons that I learned from this were: one, do not make decisions when you're overstretched. That is a huge one for me. I am a person for whom peace is a very important value or attribute, and for me, peace means rest and space and quiet and calm. And the thing is, when I don't have that, it's like I almost cannot function properly. And I had made the decision to become a part of this offer, of this course, while there was so much pressure going on that I could not take the time to quiet myself within so that I could see what was actually going on. So I learned a huge thing, that for me as a person, I need to make decisions when I am feeling free and spacious within. I'm feeling calm, I'm feeling rested, I'm feeling aligned. So the lesson is, do not make decisions when you are feeling stretched, or when you're feeling unrested, or when you're feeling pressurized. Number two, pay attention on when you are unable to fulfill things that you would usually do, when you're behaving in a way that is not like you. You know, that part of me that decided it wasn't going to participate in some things. Pay attention to that, and do not just be quick to resolve it, to resolve the resistance. Actually, take some time and understand what is going on, because that part of me was communicating to me that, Jennifer, this is something that is not for us. And because of that, a huge thing that I learned is that sometimes your resistance is right. At times your resistance knows you better than your intellect knows you. So at times you need to pay attention to that. Another thing that I also noticed, I think, as I was doing this, is at times those of us in personal development do not have a proper work-life balance. And I think what I've started to do is to actually incorporate that into my programs, to begin to give, even as I'm developing a program for business people or for people who I'm working with, to begin to create spaces within the program so that we can have a time for rest. When we're not doing the work on ourselves, when we're just sitting back and letting the stuff get integrated, the new knowledge that we've learned, the transformation or the breakthrough that we've had, to just give ourselves space to integrate, where you're not growing, learning, studying, transforming, or doing inner work, or whatever it is. You are just being. So I realize that there are times when we in personal development do not have a work-life balance, and we need to begin to find a way of creating space for us to just be, not to continuously grow, because you cannot be growing all the time. At times you need to first give yourself space to integrate everything that you have learned. I think the main thing that I got out of this, which is another major lesson, is that rest. Plan your rest, schedule your rest, schedule unplugging from all the noise, all the business, and all the work. Schedule times when you unplug. And if a program that you're in doesn't give you that time, then create it for yourself. Create a week where you're going to unplug and just sit back and say, is this still aligned with me? Is this actually what you want to do? Have a conversation with all the parts of you. What is going on? Have we made the right decision? Are we on the right track? So plan your rest, schedule your rest, schedule times to unplug from the business. And as I end, I'm just going to remind you to make rested decisions. And again, I'm going to throw this question back to you as a business person. Do you rest? Because I know that business people will really like to work. You go to bed, especially if it's something that you're passionate about or that you love. You go to bed and your mind is still just racing with ideas, with solutions, with creative ways of doing the things that you want to do. But the thing is, we need to remind ourselves that we are human beings and we need to rest. We need to sleep. We actually need to sleep. We need to take time off where we are not doing business things. For me, I do that. I do my escaping in Korean dramas, where it's like I have traveled to South Korea and I am with them. So find a way for you to totally unplug, because that gives your mind space to do that, to think about the things that you're not thinking about when you're in the middle, when you're in the thick of things, in the thick of the operations of business. So find a way for you to unplug. I don't know if this is something that you've struggled with rest. If it's something that you've struggled with, just reach out. I'm going to leave like a link in the description of this video, because it's something we really need to work on. We can even just do work on timetable so that you can begin to create times where you can rest. Just reach out on that link. It's a more information link, and then we'll see from there how we can work together so that you can begin to create space, unplugging times, rest for yourself, so that when you take that time off and you come back to your business, you're refreshed, you have new ideas, you have fresh ideas.